Good afternoon, everyone. The state of Odisha is blessed with immense natural resources. It is the largest producer of iron ore, bauxite, aluminium, steel, and stainless steel in the country. Odisha is considered as a hub for mineral-based industries due to its large mineral resources. The state has had a consistent economic growth. Its growth has been above the national average. In fact, Mr. Raj Chenkappa, welcoming you all, has dwelt in detail about on the various, the progress, the strides the state has taken in various sectors. The growth-oriented policies of the state rest on 4 pillars: governance, infrastructure, policy, and raw materials. However, there is still a lot that could be done. To talk about the opportunities and challenges for the industry in Odisha, we have with us an eminent panel of speakers. We have Mr. Pratap Keshari. Deb is the Minister for Energy, Industries, Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, Government of Odisha. We have Mr. Hemant Sharma, Principal Secretary, Industries Department, Government of Odisha. We have Mr. Anil Kumar Singh, who is the President, JSW Steel, Sambalpur-Raigarh-Paradeep plants, a person who has really seen large mega steel plants start from scratch. We have Mr. Subhrakant Panda, MD, Indian Metals and Ferro Alloys Limited, and immediate past president of the industry body FICCI, and Mr. Aditya Dash, who is the managing director of the Suryo group. So let me start with the minister, Mr. Pratap Deb. Mr. Deb, the Industry Policy Resolution 2022 aims to create a conducive environment for sustainable industrial growth in the state. I have already pointed out, and so did Mr. Raj Chenkappa, how the state has been endowed with so many resources, but it all depends on how you can rightly tap into those resources. So could you please throw some light on some of the salient features of the industrial policy and the progress that you have made so far in its implementation to start with?
While starting industrialization on a mission mode from 2016 onwards in the direction of Honorable Chief Minister Naveen Patnaik, the task given to the department was inclusive industrialization. Means all the 30 districts in the state should get the benefit and people's participation should be there. While keeping that in mind, also we need a consistent policy and a framework which will attract investment. On these principles we started off and we made the policy dynamic. That is, the policy is not static. As and when the time moves on and as per the demand of the market and the economical development of the country, both nationally and internationally, we would reset our priorities and reset our policy. So on those lines, Industrial Policy 2022 is the latest edition, and under this, we have made provisions and we have kept priority and thrust sectors. And since the state is endowed with a lot of natural resources, raw materials, and we've got a good infrastructure, and also a talented pool of young people, employable people, so we set our priorities and divided the state into various sectors and regions. And for these various sectors and regions, we kept, I'll say, SOPs so that we can attract investment. For example, the Biju Expressway, which runs in the most backward district of the states, right from Sundargarh till Koraput, all along Chhattisgarh. On that, we have kept about 40% capital subsidy and SDSE exemption up to 300%, electricity duty exemption, tariff, 2 rupees tariff holiday for about 7 years. And similarly, on the coastal track, on the eastern board, we have kept about 30% capital subsidy, and these are the kind of incentives we are giving the industrialists to come in. And it shouldn't be a cluster. Suppose, for example, Paradeep, it's on the coast. So the PCPI, it's a petrochemical and chemical region, and chemical industries and other industries will be harbored there. Kalinganagar is the steel hub. Jharsuguda and Raurakela region, they are engineering and power and metal hub, like aluminium. So this is how we have sectorized. Gopalpur will be again chemical hub. So this is how the investment in the state is coming. And to cap it all, we have got a consistent policy which comes through consistent governance. And under the aegis of Honorable Chief Minister, there's been policy consistency for quite some time. And that is a great incentive to the industry because they want the continuation of the policy, number one. Number two, we have the raw materials. Number three, we have got a talented pool. Number four, we have got a good infrastructure. And number five, which is most important, we have the advantage of the late beginner. While other places, industrial hubs of the country are saturating or plateauing, we are just beginning to open. That means I've got land, water and electricity. The capacity of Minister Industries also, at present we are energy surplus and we have got the natural resources to double our energy production, both green energy as well as fossil energy. So this is the kind of basic environment which is provided under IPR 2022 to attract investment, and we have been successful on that.
So when you say it has been successful, could you just throw some light on the kind of interest that has come in from investors, including overseas?
When we started in 2016, we have got something called Invest in Odisha or Make in Odisha program from the Industrial Department and a nodal agency, APCOL, the Industrial Promotion Agency. Every biennial year we are having this program, 16, 18, and for the COVID we shifted that, dropped that and went on to 22. So in this 3 investment meets, so far we have been able to attract an intent of 21,48,000 crores. And while I am speaking, of which about more than 10.5 lakh crore worth of projects are being grounded as I am speaking. So that makes us one of the leading states, one of the 3 leading states of the country where intent is grounded. And that is why I say that we are attracting investment because of all these 5 factors I said earlier. And now industry is coming in, and not only in the metal sector, in all other sectors also, Odisha has now become the biggest investment destination in the eastern part of the country.
Thank you, Mr. Minister. In fact, we would like to bring in Mr. Hemant Sharma. Maybe you would like to add to the fact as to how, the various segments have been receiving specialized attention from the state, the creation of the so-called hubs, and also the kind of interest that it has generated, and also how the state has moved on from being just a state endowed with natural resources to producing more value-added, material in manufacturing.
Well, as our Honourable Minister was explaining, the whole premise of our new Industrial Policy Resolution 2022 is based on 3 principles. The first principle is encourage as much value addition as is possible within the state in our raw material resources. So we have been able to attract the large investors in steel, stainless steel, aluminium. Value-added products in steel, stainless steel and aluminium is also happening because of categorizing ancillary and downstream as the priority sector. So our priority sector is basically industries where more value addition takes place. So we are now not only the largest producer of steel, but we have the best manufacturing capacity of steel pipes, steel tubes, other value-added items of steel. Similarly, in aluminium, we have gone only from basic aluminium ingots to value-added downstream products of aluminium. So that's principle number 1. Principle number 2 is to get the base broadened. How do we broaden the base? How do we bring in more sectors? So we have been able to bring sectors like food processing, packaging, petrochemicals, chemicals, textiles, apparel, garment. And today you would be happy to know that India's best manufacturers in food processing, Nestle, ITC, Britannia, Parle Agro, Anmol, all of these companies have new and upcoming plants in Odisha. Similarly, in textiles and apparel and garment sector, we recently added Wellspun, who is setting up one of the largest integrated textile complexes in Odisha. Similarly, we have Epic, Mass, Uniqlo, Aditya Birla Fashion Retail, Shahi Exports, Orient Craft, Wild Republic, Cotton World, SAPL. The entire Noida cluster, 10 of them have now decided to put up their factories in Odisha. If you look at chemicals, we have attracted world's leading players. For instance, we have Deepak Nitrite, Mahadhan Agro, we have Almatis, Magna, Caldres. All these companies have come from Europe and from USA to set up their plants in Odisha. This has been possible because of two simple reasons. One is that we have a good policy. Second is that we have put in the best infrastructure which is contextual and relevant to these industries. For instance, for chemical industries, we have ready to move in plots with factory gate availability of water, power and connectivity in our PCPIR at Paradeep. We have also been able to attract what is called new age industries. New age industries are those where environmental concerns drive investment. For instance, green fuels, green hydrogen, green ammonia, other ammonia derivatives. Gopalpur, where we have the port, we have a good special economic zone, as well as at Paradeep, we have the PCPIR and ready to move in plots with good availability of infrastructure. So it's a mix of policy and infrastructure which has helped us not only get more investments, but also investments in the diverse sectors, which by nature are either more value-adding or they provide employment for highly skilled workers. So this is some strategy which is working to our advantage.
Great. I would like to bring in Mr. Anil Kumar Singh, who can talk to us from the ground experience that the private sector player like yours, JSW Steel, which is the largest steel making company in the country. And you have also seen set up steel plants from scratch, not just you're working on a project in Odisha, but even Karnataka and other states. What has been your experience, with the Odisha government and with setting up your plant? Because we know that it's not easy to get into large-scale projects, over a long gestation period like manufacturing, because there are so many issues of land acquisition, the infrastructure, the right skills, etc., which needs to be in place. So maybe you could start off with your, experience, and then we can go into other.
Yeah, good afternoon. We all know that raw material is available, all minerals are available in Odisha. But as Mr. Raj mentioned, this was a part of Bimaro state. JSW Steel being a steel company, we have entered in this state just 3 years back with iron ore mines. Now our presence is there in steel plant, cement plant, power plant, ports. So in this sector already we have entered. So this is because when we talk about this government stability, good governance, these things are very, very important. But we know for putting a steel plant, what are the major things are required. One is mineral resource is required, which is available in Odisha. Land is available, water is available, infrastructure has improved, ports connectivity is there. So all such things are required. But apart from this softer issue, which was mainly very important, which is stable government, good governance and law and order situations. So if we put all things in one basket, then as per us, this Odisha stands much, much taller than their peers when we compare to this. Now when we talk about this land acquisition and present working in Odisha, so this is my 7th state where I'm working with. But very proudly I can say this is one of the best states to work with as a plant head. 3 years back, I have come to Jharsuguda area where we acquired Bhushan Power and Steel Limited, and we are working in that area. There also, already this plant was existing, so already there was not much issue. Recently, 2 experience I will share with all of you. One is JSW presence in electric car manufacturing. JSW is entering into automobile, and all of you might be knowing that in India, automobile means people will think for either Tamil Nadu or Maharashtra, Pune. Or sometimes nowadays Gujarat is coming into the picture. But thinking automobile in Odisha was beyond the imagination. Our experience, just 19th of November, this topic started, putting up car manufacturing in Odisha. And recently, MOU also has been signed. Just 2 months duration, starting from scratch to the MOU signing is a great achievement. When we talk about the land acquisition, so here, thanks to government of Odisha, they have already given approx 1,000 acres of land to JSW. And now JSW groundwork has already started. So in 2 months' time, you can't imagine a plant from just seed level to this just execution level is coming to on the ground. So this is a big achievement. Thanks to Chief Minister and their team. They are very proactive. This is top-driven states, which I can say. When anything is decided at top level, entire machinery works in that line. And everybody becomes part of that, and they think this is their duty, and they bring to the ground level. So this is 2 months development, I told. Now recently, you might have read in the paper, the POSCO plant in Paradeep, which was earlier given to POSCO, now it has been given to JSW. So this land, 3,000 acres of land, Government of Odisha Industry Department has given to JSW with full boundary wall. And in last 16th of Feb, groundbreaking ceremony has been done on the plot. CM himself went there. His entire team went there. And it was very surprising there because I was also stationed there because that was very big groundbreaking ceremony. And I have checked up also, and very proudly I can say that was the world's largest and biggest groundbreaking ceremony happened so far, with 30,000 people attending in such a Paradeep area where earlier lot of disturbance was there. So now this is a part of good governance, good law and order situation where 30,000 people coming on the same plot, same land for giving their support to set up a plant. When I was camping there, Industry Secretary, he also visited 1 day in advance. In other states, we have seen government officials are really government officials. They come on time, not before. But here it is not like that. I have experienced. They are just part and parcel. They are always helpful to us whenever industry is in problem. Anywhere, whoever is government official, they give their full cooperation and they think this is their problem and they try to resolve it. So, Paradeep being this world's largest steel plant, which will be 25 million ton steel plant. So now groundbreaking ceremony has been done and we are going to start the work very soon. Groundwork has started. So I think when we plan such a big industries, so definitely some issues comes. When we acquire 3,000 acres land, 2,000 acre land, then definitely who is the practical people, they will understand that some issue will be there, but definitely that is getting resolved. So that is one good thing I have observed in Odisha.
That's excellent. I think what you have said, to sum it up, it all boils down to stability, governance and leadership. And I think it's heartwarming to note that a state from where just a few years ago, some big ticket investments had seen a flight, including POSCO and Vedanta. I mean, all that is being reversed. And these are finally materializing and will create a lot of job opportunities. In fact, I think we are a little curious to know what is this automotive plant that JSW is getting into. Maybe, if you can briefly tell us what it is all about.
JSW has acquired stake in MG Motors. That is another part. So that will be with MG. But here in Odisha, we are going to set up a full-fledged integrated car manufacturing. It will be totally electric vehicle. It will be totally EV. And battery manufacturing also we are going to put here. And along with that, copper smelter also we are going to put. So this will be full integrated car manufacturing setup, which we are going to set up here with 40,000 crores investment we are going to set up here. Recently on 16th of Feb, when this groundbreaking ceremony was happening, so our CMD Sri Sajan Jindal, he announced there. So far, in 3 years, we have spent approx 30,000 crores in the state. And now, in coming futures, we are going to spend approx 1,50,000 crores in the state because now he has got full confidence in the state and he knows the potential. He has seen the working with Odisha government and he is fully charged with that. So our next destination is Odisha only. But when, you can give me 2 minutes time? Yeah. So here, one good thing is there, state is really progressing in a very right direction. But as I am from steel industry, I will give you some steel details, which is an indicator that definitely state is progressing. Today, if we see that our steel capacity in the country is approx 140 million ton. Out of that, 30 million ton, 33 is in Odisha, where we produce 20 million ton. So, if you see, in today's circumstances, iron ore production is concerned, Odisha is producing more than 50% of country's iron ore, and we are producing 20% of country's steel. So here is the opportunities lies for Odisha to convert their own iron ore into steel and make more profit.
Yeah.
When country's steel policy, everybody is aware, country's steel policy is 300 million ton by 2030. Definitely, I feel it is not going to be by 2030, but definitely maybe by 2035 it is going to be 300 million tons. So from 140 to 300 million tons, where it is going to happen? Where iron ore is there. So state of Odisha is there where maximum component of 160 million ton is going to come. Government of Odisha has made plan of roadmap for 130 million ton. 30 million ton already they are having. 100 million ton additional is going to come. If 100 million ton additional, just thumb rule I will say you, it will attract 500,000 crores of investment and 100,000 of skilled workforce job creation will be there.
Yeah.
So this is the requirement. But when this is going to happen, so definitely some challenges also are going to be faced.
Yeah. Wonderful. I think he has just pointed out, Mr. Singh, the kind of immense potential the state has, and it should not be resting on its laurels, because the future, as far as the steel production at least is concerned, there is a huge way that Odisha can go. Let me come to Mr. Subhrakant Panda, who has got immense experience understanding, comparing the industrial growth in various states in his capacity as past president of FICCI. So, Mr. Panda, I would like to know from you, what are the unique things that sets Odisha apart from other states? You also have been, your company has been, your group has been in business for several decades now, and you have seen the kind of transformation that has happened. So we'd like to hear from you.
Excuse me. Let me actually start with what you mentioned at the end, which is that, I have, my experience in Odisha is not just from a general perspective, having led FICCI over the last year, but starts with the fact that that Infa is one of the oldest investors in the state, going back to the 1960s when we set up a presence. And we have consistently grown, invested in the state, seen the changes which have come about, and the supportive approach, particularly in this government under Honorable Chief Minister Naveen Patnaik, for industry to grow. And, what is, I think, unique is, given the fact that Odisha is so richly endowed when it comes to natural resources, it is but obvious that you will have mineral and mining-based industry coming to the state. But I think what has been the hallmark of industrial policy of the government's approach to holistic industrialization, as the Honorable Minister pointed out in his remarks, is the fact that Odisha has been able to diversify its base beyond just minerals and metals, and been able to attract investment across the spectrum in a whole variety of sectors, including new age sectors. I believe there's an immense potential, especially when it comes to manufacturing in Odisha. If you look at a national level, India is still around that 15 to 16% of GDP, which needs to go up, which is why at the national level the government is very focused on on ease of doing business, which is being replicated in the state. At the national level, they're very focused on policies like the production-linked incentive schemes. And I think that is where the opportunity lies for Odisha to really attract investment in sectors which are priority and thrust sectors, not just at the state level, but which can plug into the national plan. Odisha has crossed $100 billion in terms of GSDP, but I think there is much, much more potential which is there. And keep in mind also our geographical positioning. At a national level, again, we talk about, Act East policy, and I think Odisha is absolutely perfectly positioned to take advantage of that in terms of reaching out to the Southeast Asian markets, which is where there is a lot of potential in terms of consumption, etc. And of course, as a country, we are also, growing rapidly, and that is going to create tremendous opportunities. As I said, as Infa, we are one of the oldest investors with a presence of in the state for more than 6 decades. We are the largest producer of specialty alloys, ferro alloys in the country, and employ more than 6,500 people. And what is attractive about the state is at a policy level there is stability, there is farsightedness, there is clarity of thought. I think again Mr. Singh referred to the fact that if there is commitment towards a project, you will see everything absolutely fall in line. And I think as an entrepreneur, that is what I find most attractive, which is that you either get a yes or a no, and if it is a yes, which it is more often than not, then everything is aligned to ensure that projects come online. Taking a slightly broader picture, if I look at the last year or so, where as President of FICCI, I had the opportunity to go around the state and understand policy initiatives which various states are taking. I think one of the outcomes of having a unified domestic market through the introduction of GST, which was a very important reform, is that there is now competition among states to ensure that they attract investment. But what I noticed, and I think it would be fair to say, that there is a lot of envy for Odisha in terms of the natural resources that we are endowed with. But there is also appreciation that there is no complacency to rely on only natural resources and say that that is what we are going to that is what the state is going to focus on. I think there is a lot of appreciation about the holistic approach that has come into play. And let me end by highlighting one point. This has again been alluded to, but I think the fiscal responsibility that the state has displayed in terms of ensuring that it has never really dipped into borrowings or something of that sort to finance its growth, but also the fact that the money which is being earned through industrialization, through mineral auctions, which have contributed substantially to the kitty, is being spent in a very thoughtful manner with a large outlay for infrastructure, which I think augurs extremely well. Because keep in mind that money spent on infrastructure has a multiplier effect in terms of impacting other industries. And when completed, it is also something which will enhance the ease of doing business and reduce the cost of doing business. So all in all, I think Odisha is well positioned, and that is reflected in the fact, in the statistics. It's not just in the last year that Odisha has outperformed, nationally in terms of the GSTP, but over the last decade or so, I think it's 100 basis points or a little bit more than that in terms of the state GDP growth, which I think is absolutely noteworthy.
Excellent. In fact, you have brought in a very important point as to, why it is important, one, of course, to have fiscal discipline, but also to focus your energies on infrastructure, because, at the end of the day, it cuts down your logistics growth, which is very crucial. And at the same time, it adds to your competitiveness. And I think that's what has been the focus of the central government when it went ahead with its national infrastructure pipeline, etc. And now we'll have Mr. Aditya Dash, who is the managing director of the Suryo Group, to give us his experience, in investing in the state.
Thank you, sir. I would like to start with an anecdote. Last time there was a event like this, the organizers, in good faith, they told me, sir, please speak only positive things about the government. So I don't know how I developed a reputation for that, but I can safely say over the past 4 years, as the slogan says, work speaks, and the work has spoken so loudly that all critical feedback, I have to just shut my mouth for that. Because whenever I would get an opportunity, I would say focus on the basics, sadak, bijli, pani. And in all those parameters, the government has delivered. Be it sadak, road connectivity is excellent. And I would always highlight that, how in Orissa, we didn't have container connectivity. But just last week, we now have container facilities so that reefer cargo can be exported from Paradeep. So that's a big boost to, marine exporters like me. And, as far as electricity is concerned, my diesel bill has decreased year after year, and it continues to do so. So I'm really happy for all of this. But like we said, we need to look at the future. We shouldn't be comparing ourselves to just with other states. We should also compare ourselves with Southeast Asian countries like Vietnam and Thailand. So the focus now, I think, should be on, focusing on genetics, investing in breeding programs and disease management, and also crop insurance policies. So that would be my feedback. Thank you, sir.
Great, Mr. Dash. In fact, you have set the tone for the next question because, we'll have to look at the future and we should not be complacent, as Mr. Panda was trying to say. I would like to come to the minister. Sir, what is the kind of future outlook for the government as far as, taking things forward is concerned? One could see that, a lot of recent announcements that were done were in green projects, for instance, green hydrogen, green methanol, green ammonia. So clearly you are looking at a whole lot of futuristic projects. And also, what is the strategy of the state while it taps into its rich mineral resource to go outside, the metals segment and, equally embellish, for instance, its services business, where there is a lot of potential and compared to some of the other states, maybe, there is still room for improvement as far as services is concerned. So we'd like to hear from you on that.
Like I said a little while ago, that we have the advantage of the late beginner. So the entire focus of the government is on industrial policy, that we have to take industrialization on mission mode, number one. Number two, why are we doing this? We are doing this for the youth of the state, who are the future of the state. Especially providing a direct job or a kind of employability of self-employment. So unless we create opportunity for the youth, the entire cause is lost. So this entire exercise is keeping in view the future. We are created in 1936 and 2036 we will complete 100 years. So youth of the state need not look back. They have to take the state forward. So that is the keynote of my Honorable Chief Minister, and keeping that in view, we are progressing. And like we said, yes, we have got an advantage over other states as far as minerals are concerned. But we are diversifying into every new age sector, wherever it is possible. So, and keeping a very keen eye on the environmental aspect. Because as you know, we are a very natural disaster prone state. Floods and cyclones are like common here. So keeping that balance, environmental balance, we are very much eager to move on the green technology part. For example, hydrogen and ammonia, and also other options where we can have a clean and green energy. So that is the new age thrust sector. Because as far as I am concerned and whatever information I have, hydrogen is going to be a game changer in the future. Virtually EV and hydrogen will be at loggerheads in some time in the near future. So as far as the Government of India's target of hydrogen is concerned, we are, as far as today is concerned, we are the leading state in providing the solution towards hydrogen and green ammonia. Like Principal Secretary said, Gopalpur is going to be the hub. And we are marching ahead with that. As we are speaking, we have signed an MOU of more than 6.5 million metric ton of hydrogen, and of which work have already started in 1.5. So apart from that, service sector, IT and ITS, tourism, food processing, marine production, these are the greenfield sectors where the population of the state will get a lot of direct benefit. For example, I'll give you a district called Navrangpur. It's a total tribal district, and it generates about 4.5 lakh metric ton of corn every year. Now, corn starch is such an item which is used in everybody's household. So we are putting up a lot of effort there to start food processing units there, especially corn starch. Now that one industry will provide sustainability and livelihood to each and every tribal family in that district. So that is the kind of mindset my Chief Minister has, and both present, future, near future and future. We have got 3 categories and we are working on that.
Excellent. Like to hear from Mr. Sharma, the kind of progress we just had. You had the 3rd edition of Make in Odisha in 2022, and you had proposals to the tune of 10.5 lakh crore. It's a huge investment that was planned. I mean, we'd like to know, what has been, how much of it has taken off the ground, and also just to add to what the minister has said, how you look at the future in terms of developing new industries and services.
Firstly, during the Make in Odisha Conclave 2022 and the period thereafter, we have been able to attract investment for more than 10 lakh crore. In fact, today we are the second highest in the country as per Center for Monitoring of Indian Economy. We are the second highest in the investment in the state, above Maharashtra, above Karnataka, above Gujarat, and just below Maharashtra. Not only that, we are third highest in the country in terms of bank-assisted investment. That means investments which have already been achieved financial closure are assisted by banks or financial institutions. And we are in the company of states like Gujarat, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka. So we have broken away from our image of being a less industrially developed states. We are no longer in the company of states which are less industrially developed and are certainly in the company of states which are much more industrially advanced in the western and southern parts of the country. And it has happened because of all the mix of policy, infrastructure and strong governance. The 10 lakh crores of investment which we had attracted in last 1 year was in about 787 projects, of which 227 have been grounded. That means they are under various stages of construction, which is a very high figure. I would say the highest figure amongst all states in the country as far as grounding percentage is concerned. And as we speak, about 100 of those projects are almost nearing commissioning stage, and in the next few months, if not weeks, they will certainly be commissioned. This would be an investment of about 3.2 lakh crore converted already out of the 10 lakh crore and employment of more than 2 lakh. More importantly, the point to note is that while we continue to retain our mineral and metal advantage, which is primarily a geographical advantage which we have, but we have been able to convert the mineral advantage, a geographical advantage, into the metal and metallurgical advantage through policy, through infrastructure. And now, the next wave for us is coming from what is called new age industries. Industries like automobiles based on electric vehicles, battery storage systems, information technology, electronics, aerospace, defense, chemicals, petrochemicals. These are the industries which we are now able to get on the strength of our policy, on the strength of our infrastructure, and not necessarily on the strength of our geography. Therefore, you would find that world's largest battery manufacturing plant by JSW is coming up in Odisha. India's largest titanium metal, titanium alloy, aerospace and defense complex is coming up in Odisha. Berger Paint, which is India's second largest paint manufacturer, its largest factory is in Odisha. Indo-Nissin, which is a very large food processing company, its largest factory outside of Japan is in Odisha. Nestle, largest food processing plant based on diverse factors, is coming up in Odisha. Today, the entire wave of investments in new age sectors is happening in Odisha because of the way we have positioned ourselves in ease of doing business and cost of doing business. We are able to provide 54 clearances from 18 departments in 30 days. We run a scheme where we are able to provide 30 acres of land in 30 days, 50 acres of land in 50 days, and 100 acres of land in 100 days with factory gate availability of road, water and power. No other state can match this speed of execution. That is why the industries are attracted towards us. Your second very important question is, what next? What is it that we are trying to do now, having done steel, having done cement, having done aluminium, having even done, let's say, paints, chemicals and varnishes? See, across the world now, major chunk of investment is driven by environmental concerns. So, decarbonization is itself driving a lot of investments across the world, whether it is Europe or Americas or Asia or India. Therefore, if Odisha were to be able to get a major chunk of this investment, then we must promote new age sectors, and these new age sectors are in decarbonization sectors. So while we have steel, we must promote green steel. If we have pharmaceuticals, we must promote green pharmaceuticals. That is why our push and the advanced position which we have taken on green fuels, green hydrogen, green ammonia, green methanol, these are going to be the drivers of the new age economy in the entire world. Whether it is Japan or Korea or Europe or America, we will not be able to sell steel unless it is green steel. We will not be able to sell textiles unless they come from green sources of energy. Therefore, this is a very conscious policy decision which our government has taken under the futuristic and visionary leadership of our Honorable Chief Minister, that we have positioned ourselves at the forefront of new age industries, because that is where the new wave of investments is going to come from, and that is where we will not only get employment for our youth, we would get employment in the sectors where highly skilled resources are required. So to manufacture green hydrogen is not it's not something which is today taught in our engineering colleges or our ITIs or polytechnics, but tomorrow this is going to the future. So we are just trying to position Odisha at the forefront of this new wave of investments happening across the world.
That's excellent. In fact, now since you have laid out the kind of future goals that you have, I would like to get these gentlemen from the private sector to come up with probably 3 major areas where you feel the government should be further focusing on to tap some of the new opportunities that are coming up. And I will start off with Mr. Panda. 3 areas where you feel the government should be laying stress on.
So, that's in a manner of speaking a little difficult to answer for the simple reason, as you heard both the Minister and Mr. Sharma explain, that there is actually a very, very comprehensive approach to ensuring that we take advantage of the resources, natural resources that we have, but also reach out and ensure that we are covered across the spectrum. But having said that, I think if you look at from a manufacturing sector, which is where I think there's a lot of opportunity which lies in India, then not just the new age sectors, but newer technology-backed industries, whether it is Industry 4.0 related or artificial intelligence, machine learning based investments which can impact across sectors. I think that is one area. And tied into that is skill development. Again, I think the state has a very focused approach to skill development and has done good work in ensuring that a capable talent pool is available to industries to set up base in the country. But I think, keeping at it, because keep in mind that we are at a stage where, technology is changing rapidly, and that is going to have an impact on various sectors. And I think that is an area where we need to work and ensure that we are ahead of the curve and prepared for the change which is coming.
Mr. Dash.
I would say, container facilities at our ports, because I think that is one major thing that is lacking. So I think the recent move by the government is definitely a step in the right direction. And I'm sure things are coming up. Second would be skill development, especially in the marine sector. We can definitely, fill in the gap that is going to happen. Industries are going to move out from China, and that is where we can come in. But this is where we need things. Third is because of climate change, we need to give our farmers and our fish farmers and the animal breeders, breeding programs so that these new varieties can adapt to the changing climate.
I think Mr. Dev has a point to say. Yeah.
In fact, one of the suggestions is we have already done about a week back. I think we are the first state who have signed a VGF, Viable Gap Funding, with a ship liner, a shipping company. That is Mediterranean Shipping Company, which is the largest shipping company, which handles about 18% of the total container cargo of the world. So we have asked them, and we have signed an agreement with them, not a MOU, but an agreement that every month there will be 2 liners from Paradeep.
Mr. Singh, some areas you feel the government should quickly?
Yeah. One area regarding environment, which I wanted to speak, but already Industry Secretary has already put some light on that. But definitely when I talk about in my speech, when we are going to expand so much as far as steel is concerned, then if we see this carbon emission, now Odisha contributes roughly 3.6% of the country's population. But when we talk about the carbon emission concern, so Odisha contributes 9% of the country's emission. So now when we are going to increase steel plant 4 times, so these things also going to increase in that way. So this is the very important thing which Industry Secretary told. Now itself he has started taking care of this green hydrogen, green steel plant, green technology. So as Odisha is going to see 30 million to 130 million ton steel plant, so definitely this is the time when he has to control each and everything, and company should not come left and right with inferior technology, so that later date it will be very difficult to control. So this is the major thing is required for the future. Additional to this, some ports are required. I think government is already taken care for that. So that is the things.
Okay, a final word from the minister again, if you would like to talk about the environment aspect that he just mentioned, and something else, some other, after listening to what these private players have said.
Like, yes, it's a fact. CO2 emission needs to be controlled, and that is the future, not only a problem for us, but every state, every country, as a world as a whole. So when we are targeting manufacturing to increase to a certain level, that's why emphasis on hydrogen, that's why emphasis on green energy, that's ammonia, as well as solar and other methods where we can cut down emission. For example, since we have got the large furnace-based industries, both power, aluminum and steel. So aluminum, ammonia comes as a big game changer in the future. And its infusion with the fossil fuel will give us the required result, and we are working on that. And like we said, Gopalpur port specifically, we are building on those lines only, and a lot of ammonia and hydrogen plants are coming up. And I think we are, as I'm speaking, we are the leader in hydrogen manufacturing in the country. So that is where we are betting that with infusion of solar, green energy, ammonia, hydrogen, and wind, we can stabilize a lot of the CO2 emission, and we can register it within limits.
Excellent. In fact, we could go on, but I think unfortunately we have reached, we have the deadline for this session. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for being on the panel. And I think we are all richer for what you have shared with us. Please give a big round of applause to the 5 gentlemen on the dais. Thank you.